This is VOA News, reporting by remote. I'm Joe Ramsey. U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday at the White House defended the exit from Afghanistan as the, quote, best decision for America, the day after the U.S. military withdrawal was being celebrated by the Taliban as a major victory. He spoke as the United Nations warns of a looming, quote, humanitarian catastrophe in Afghanistan, underscoring the challenges the victorious Taliban face as they transform from insurgent group to governing power. For America, Biden argued the only choice in Afghanistan was leaving or escalating. The president has been criticized for his handling of the withdrawal and frenzied airlift, which saw the United States and its allies fly more than 120,000 people fleeing the Taliban regime out of Afghanistan, something Biden says was a, quote, extraordinary success. All eyes will now turn to how the Taliban handled their first few days with sole authority over the country, with a sharp focus on whether they will allow free departure for those wanting to leave, including some foreigners. The U.S. has said that, quote, under 200 of its citizens remained in the country, and Britain said the number of nationals inside were in the low hundreds. Thousands of Afghans who worked with the U.S.-backed government over the years and fear retribution also want to get out. Talks are ongoing as to who will now run Kabul airport, which German Chancellor Angela Merkel warns of existential importance for a lifeline of aid. UN Chief Antonio Guterres warned Tuesday of the challenges faced by Afghans as the Taliban build their new regime and expressed, quote, grave concern at the deepening humanitarian and economic crisis in the country. This is VOA News. Officials in Peru say 32 passengers died, including 2 children, and more than 20 were injured when a bus plummeted from a cliff early Tuesday. The accident happened some 37 miles or 60 kilometers east of the capital, Lima. There had been 63 passengers on the bus. The local police commander told TV Peru, quote, recklessness contributed to Tuesday's accident, adding the bus had been traveling at a high speed. It hit a rock and plunged into an abyss some 650 feet deep, according to survivors. Venezuelan opposition parties announced Tuesday they will participate in regional and municipal elections scheduled for November, reversing ground from their previous boycotts of recent balloting. The announcement comes days before the opposition and the government of President Nicolas Maduro are expected to meet in Mexico City to continue negotiations on finding a common path out of Venezuela's political standoff. The regional and municipal elections are scheduled for November 21st. The opposition parties, grouped in the so-called Unitary Platform and led by Juan Guaido, boycotted previous elections, including the re-election of Maduro as president in 2018, arguing that Venezuela lacks the conditions for free and fair elections. The U.S. aid agencies said Tuesday rebels in Ethiopia's war-torn Tigray region have been looting aid warehouses, calling the alleged thefts, quote, a great concern for humanitarians. Sean Jones, head of the USAID mission in Ethiopia, told state television EBC, quote, we know for a fact that the TPLF, Tigray People's Liberation Front, every town they've gone into, they looted the warehouses, they've looted trucks, they've caused a great deal of destruction in all the villages they've visited. Northern Ethiopia has been racked by violence since November, when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed sent troops into Tigray to topple the TPLF, the regional ruling party, saying the move came in response to attacks on army camps. The 2019 Nobel Peace Prize winner promised a swift victory, but the war has instead dragged on for months, triggering a humanitarian crisis in Tigray. And Israel allowed dozens of truckloads of construction materials into the Gaza Strip on Tuesday, easing a tight blockade it's maintained on the Hamas-ruled territory since an 11-day war last May. The imports coming during a tense time in which Hamas activists have been protesting and sometimes violent demonstrations along the separation fence with Israel. Find more at voanews.com. Reporting by remote, I'm Joe Ramsey, VOA News.